Garcia, the CEO of Borderless Capital, coming up next.
Hey, hello, how are you doing? Good morning,
Hi, we're doing
everyone.
very well. How are
Good
you
morning.
doing?
Oh, here he is, over here. I'll go stand
Yeah,
next to you.
just in
um,
front of his masterpiece.
yes. Oh, yes. This
Wow,
is yours, isn't it?
I didn't see that. Let me check.
Yeah. Look,
Well,
I believe this is part of your collection, right, David?
it's part of the Borderless Capital collection, and
Got it.
yes, we are super impressed with this piece and with the work of Refik and Adol. So we are huge fans of his work. So
Yeah. How cool is that? Well, thank.
here it looks amazing, but when it was presented in the Basel in Miami in front of the beach, that was really stunning. So
Oh, yeah.
I think that
I
there
can.
are still pictures and videos of that event.
I can. I can only imagine. So, okay, so everybody, here we are. We are here with David Garcia. Like I said, he is the CEO of Borderless Capital. Borderless Capital is one of the longest funds focusing on Algorand. Am I correct about that?
Yeah, you're correct, Cooper. We are one of the first and principal ecosystem investors since the very beginning. We started our relationship with Algorand back in 2018, even before the mainnet launch. So yeah,
Right.
right.
So you have truly been doing that, and so okay, we have a lot of questions that people have submitted and they'd like answered, and we have quite a few for you actually. So I'm gonna try to stay a little bit on that so we get everybody's questions answered. But so before we get started, why don't we just real quick tell everybody who you are and what it was about Algorand that got you to jump in so early and focus on Algorand?
Sure. Happy to share some background.
Yeah.
I am a former entrepreneur turned into an investor. I have been working in the crypto industry since 2013, first as an entrepreneur, then in 2015 as an investor when I started my first fund that invested in the initial cryptocurrencies back at that time, Bitcoin, Ethereum. And I have seen all the different problems and unfulfilled promises of these prior blockchain generations. I have seen, the Bitcoin fork when it forked to Bitcoin Cash. I have seen the Ethereum fork when it forked to Ethereum Classic. I have seen all the political discussions and philosophical discussions related to blockchain. So when I met Silvio and when I understood what Silvio was proposing to build and solve the blockchain trilemma, and the team behind it, which for me was the perfect combination of business, scientific, and technical talent, I decided to avoid any distraction and go full fledged on Algorand. So that's kind of the background of how we got into Algorand and why we decided that we're gonna support and back the best blockchain software that we believe that is in the market right now.
Yeah, fantastic. Uh, let's give Cooper a little bit of time. I think he's probably disconnected. Hello, Cooper.
Oh, here we go. Am I here?
Yeah, you're still here.
Oh, okay, good, good, good.
Good,
So,
good.
yeah. So I was what I was saying. I guess you guys weren't hearing, but I did notice. I was, scrolling through your LinkedIn. You've been. I think you had some certification of a Bitcoin professional many years back, right?
8 years ago. Yeah, that is from C4, one of the first organizations trying to set up a standard for knowledge about Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies back in
Right.
those days. So
Yeah, I wish I had taken a Bitcoin professional course in 2014, but that's okay.
yeah, it's so nostalgic. Yeah,
So, all right. So here's you guys are obviously Borderless is kind of the flagship. When somebody like me looks at a new project, I'm like, is Borderless backing them? So you guys are giants in our ecosystem. So it's such a pleasure to have you here and to be able to talk to you. And I know that one of the first questions, and people are always kind of wondering this, is how do you think Algorand can drive more venture capital interest? Like, what do you think
yeah,
the path is to that?
yeah. So I think that there are a couple of points. One is Algorand as a protocol and as a platform has been evolving over the last 3 years, and I'm happy to say that now we are at the level of maturation in the technology and with the features of the technology that are enabling amazing use cases and more complex use cases. And that also is attracting new entrepreneurs to build new platforms, new use cases, solving problems that were not possible to solve before. So with that on the table, I think that we are seeing a high quality of projects that are looking to natively build on Algorand, or they are already natively building in Algorand. And in the last 6 to 12 months back, we have seen a lot of interest of generic VCs or leading crypto funds looking to co-invest along with Borderless Capital. I think that we were fortunate enough to get very early in some of the key projects in Algorand, like Tinyman, Algo5, Fox Finance, XBAC. And now that those projects have been able to deliver and show the traction that Algorand can provide and the level of technology, we are seeing that these agnostic or leading VCs from the crypto space are coming and talking with these companies, are looking to invest in the next rounds. They are also getting closer to Borderless, and they want to co-invest with Borderless in several of the projects that we are leading or we are investing. Companies like Coinbase Ventures or Parafy or Jump Trading, they are leaders and key investors in several other ecosystems, and they are coming and starting to deploy capital within the Algorand ecosystem. So we are super happy for that, and I think that is a validation that the ecosystem is growing and the interest from external investors and VC also is growing.
Right. And what do you, here we are on Earth Day, and how do you see sustainability and, Algorand? Obviously, last night we had a really exciting event in Times Square for Algorand. I mean, my opinion is that just all that does is, not all that does, but it does a wonderful job at, putting people's eyes on Algorand, realizing how sustainable and how eco-friendly it is. So do you think that is I'm obviously it is, but how do you feel that sustainability will help drive Algorand and more interest from funds and all that?
Yeah, I think that it will attract a lot of public and different type of stakeholders, right? On one side, we have the users that they want to use products and platforms that are sustainable and they care about the planet. And I think that that's very important, especially for the creators economy. Then you have investors that they want to invest and be responsible with the investments that they are doing, right? And they want to support platforms that they are not only able to bring a massive amount of users or a massive amount of value, but also do good for the planet. And on the third side, you have the entrepreneurs. And the entrepreneurs and builders they have multiple options, right? And if they have an option where they can relate with the values of the platform on which they are building, I think that creates a difference. So we are very excited for not only our portfolio companies, but also for some community projects that are creating value with purpose. One of examples, we have it here in the metaverse with our company Aoris, that it's enabling artists like Refik and Adol to be able to auction great art piece that is just reminding us how important it is for the planet to keep taking care of the coral reef, right? Which is super important for the ecosystem. So we believe that if we keep this way of leading how we can build value and build on top of a technology that cares about the planet and cares about sustainability, it's a winning combination. And we are super excited for all the different initiatives that are now popping up with this new movement that Algorand is igniting.
Right. Yeah, it does seem, especially with the metaverse and where the future seems, where we seem to be headed, is, there's going to be a lot of computers running as we try to get embodied in the internet. And so it seems like using blockchains like Algorand that are carbon negative or carbon neutral is going to be very important in the future.
Indeed. I think that also something that I usually tell other people, it's when you are participating in the Algorand Metaverse, and by participating I mean minting an NFT, buying an NFT, joining this type of events, sending a transaction in the network, you're actually contributing to make the planet a better place, right? Because you're actually taking out some of the carbon footprint that other blockchains are generating. So, and that is so powerful that, if we all organize together and keep leading that way, we definitely can make an impact in the planet. So
yeah, I mean, that's actually a really cool way to look at it if you think about it, because the consensus mechanism of Algorand uses so little energy, and Algorand is so committed to this that you're really, if you send a transaction, you probably are, like you're saying, doing a net positive for the environment. So that's a way that I'll frame it in the future. So okay.
Yes.
So we have we have a lot of questions about gaming and GameFi, and what do you think is the future of gaming in the metaverse in the Algorand network?
Yeah, I think that gaming and blockchain are two things that get along very well, because on one side you have the opportunity to create value with the time that players are spending in games, and also through the skills that the players and gamers are developing. And on the other side, you have a technology that can create the right incentives for these people to keep improving on the way that they participate in these gaming communities. So we think that what has been happening on other ecosystems where very powerful groups were able to participate in blockchain games and take and extract a lot of value out of the minority groups. I think that that's something that in Algorand we are gonna to completely correct and change, especially because we are significantly removing the friction for everyone to participate and to be part of that gaming and metaverse economy. We are seeing people like our portfolio company that 2 days ago launched their own token natively in Algorand. I'm talking about Cosmic Champs. They are becoming the first 3D game platform built on top of Algorand. They are looking to launch the game in June, and thanks to a platform like Algorand, the company and the game will be able to bring hundreds of thousands of people on top of it without having to worry about the gas fees, without having to worry about how much money the gamer can have in order to participate in the games. So, and I think that that's the key to make games and the metaverse a mainstream platform, reducing friction and enabling more people to participate. And I believe that Algorand is uniquely positioned for that. So.
Yeah, a few days ago, I interviewed one of the co-creators of Algorand, and that's a that's a homegrown, NFT trading card kind of gaming metaverse project, and I believe you guys are affiliated with Algorand. Am I correct?
Yeah, actually, we are in the process of finalizing the significant investment into the company. We are also the lead investor of Algorand, and it's going to be announced in a couple of weeks.
Okay.
But I can keep the review. We are super excited.
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No worries. But I just want to say that we are super excited for what they are building, for how they are enabling a lot of people to participate in the metaverse and changing the way that a card game can create the right incentives for both collectors and gamers. So
yeah. No, that's really exciting. I guess that leads me to the next question here on the list is, what does Borderless Capital look for when they're contemplating, supporting a new NFT or gaming or metaverse themed project?
Yeah, I think that for us it's about the power of creating value through community and that only can come if the project has, for us, like two big things in mind. One is having the right incentives for people to participate. That's something that we spend a lot of time with entrepreneurs and Web3 builders. Actually, one of our team members that is specialized in crypto economics has posted a blog post yesterday that we encourage everyone that is looking to build on Algorand and thinking on having a network incentives and token-driven economy to take a look at it. I think that they will find a lot of insights there. And the second thing, it's about reducing the friction, right? So how we can do things better to enable more people to participate in these virtual worlds, in these games, in this metaverse, in acquiring NFTs. So I think that reducing the friction is a key, and partner that or pairing that with the right blockchain incentives that can create a network effect. So those are the two things that we are looking always when we are planning to back or support any of these new platforms that are looking to be invested by Borderless.
Right. Yeah, it seems like Algorand is, perfect for the situation where people don't even know they're using the blockchain because the fees are so low, and transactions are so fast that it's the perfect technology. So you don't need to actually even know that you're using blockchain and still be using it.
Totally agree. So Web 2 is about the network of information. I think that Algorand, it's the network of value, right? So one is running behind the other. So
absolutely. Okay, so then we have a question about, is there anything that you think that maybe Algorand marketing or the Algorand community can do to help bring more people to our NFT ecosystem or our gaming ecosystem? Is there anything specific that you would like to see from the community or the marketing team or anybody really?
yeah, I think that we have done an amazing job positioning Algorand brand and Algorand features and Algorand benefits, but I still believe that we have to do and we have the opportunity to do it now that the Algorand brand is in the spot. It's about connecting with the development communities, right, and bringing more developers on board and making sure that as we are doing a huge branding marketing and a huge featuring marketing, I think that we should do also a better job on creating the right technical content and making sure that we connect with the developers and we can attract Web2 developers to start building or becoming first-time Web3 developers through Algorand, and it can be the default option for them. So
Got it.
I believe that if we focus a little bit more there, we have the right equation.
Right. So yeah, the idea is that, so yes, of course, try to bring developers over from places like Ethereum, but it's also, there's a whole developer community that hasn't actually left Web 2. And I guess what you're saying is that Algorand is the perfect, sort of gateway drug into, blockchain and Web 3. Is that kind of what you're saying?
Yeah, that's correct. And actually we are seeing for Web 2 developers, when, they want to become Web3 developers and the first experience that they have is Algorand, it's natural for them to come and build here and just understand that Algorand is the best platform that they can use for building, rather than going through Ethereum or EVM compatible blockchains, which have much more complexity and big challenges to solve when you are coming with a Web2 developers mentality. So and we have seen that in the past. So
got it. Okay. And so what do you see when you look out into the world and Web 2, Web 3? What do you see that is most ripe for disruption? Like a Web 3 disruption.
Yeah, I think that I said this on the cipher in my panel. I think that DAOs and decentralized government communities are going to disrupt the way that we think about collaborating and creating value together. And I believe that it's going to be kind of the most popular use case in the years to come. for the entire crypto industry, not only for Algorand. So DAOs and centralized government communities are next big thing on blockchain for sure.
Yeah. Okay, well, you mentioned DAOs, and I'm very aware of the Borderless Dao. Would you care to kind of break down a little bit about what the Borderless Dao is, and
Sure.
and how maybe people can get involved, or when they can get involved?
Yeah, so we are doing baby steps as the whole industry is doing, and we want to make sure that we can do it also in a compliant way. Venture DAOs are an innovative product, but also are new products in terms of compliance. So we are making sure that we will enable community participation, but at the same time we will not do something that is not right. So when we are thinking about the Borderless DAO, we are thinking about powering the DAO with the community that is driving the ecosystem, which are mainly the builders, the developers, the community leaders. So we are looking forward to launch the DAO this year. We already have several of the existing key partners in Algorand, including several of our portfolio companies that have committed to contribute and participate into the DAO. And also in parallel, we are working to launch our Algo Fund 2. So those two things will co-live together. So on one side, you will have a professional VC that is deploying capital within the ecosystem, and on the side, you will have the DAO that will allow community leaders and builders to co-invest and participate also in the same opportunities that the Algo Fund 2 is looking to invest. They will decide by themselves, but at the end of the day, they can rely also on the professional due diligence, investment thesis, and opportunities and deal flow also that the Borderless Algo Fund 2 will bring.
Got it. And you mentioned Algo Fund 2. On my list here of questions, people were wondering, are you already planning to raise for the Algo Fund 3?
Who knows? By that time, maybe the community is so big that we are gonna be a small fish in the pond, right? So far we have been super busy, still deploying capital from the Algo Fund 1 and finalizing the deployment of the Algo Fund 2 along with the Borderless Dao. Who knows? Maybe in 2-3 years, we might be interested to launch the Algo Fund 3. Or maybe someone else does it, right? And that's great also. So.
Got it. Yeah. Okay, so we all know, we know Algorand is carbon negative. We know it doesn't fork. We know a lot how fast it is, how cheap it is. We know a lot of the positives. Is there anything that you look at when you look at Algorand that maybe some of the disadvantages of Algorand that you would like to see changed or improved?
Well, that's more like a personal taste answer that I'm gonna say. Because I'm not a technical expert that I can fully criticize any of the potential disadvantage of Algorand. So I'm gonna talk more as a user and as from a user experience. I think that one of the, and again, thinking about removing the friction, right? I think that one of the things that can be improved is about this native feature that we have in the Algorand network for transferring assets, which is called the opt-in, where when you need to opt in an asset in order to receive it. I think that feature, instead of being mandatory, should be optional. And if I want to receive, assets in a permissionless way, I should be able to do it without having to go and pass through the process of enabling each asset in my wallet or in my account, right? That's one of the things that I am actually discussing a lot with some of the core developers in Algorand, and I think that they are thinking on that in the future, so we can enable a lot of participation and permissionless opportunities rather than having to go through the process of enabling each ASA in your account. And if you want to do it, definitely it's a feature that you can switch on or switch off at your desire, and I believe that that's a little bit more powerful than just keeping mandatory for every wallet to just enable ASAs before being able to interact with that ASA token.
Right. That makes a lot of sense. All right, so I want to make sure that I allow enough time for people to ask questions if they have them. The last question I have here, and it kind of goes back to what you were saying earlier about one of your coworkers' posts about tokenomics, and I guess just in general, what does Borderless look for in a token-driven business model?
I think that the main question is how this network will accrue value, and if it is, or how this network or the protocol or application will accrue value, and if it's through the token, how the token is aligning the incentives across all the different participants in that network or the protocol, right? Between the investors, between the users, and between the team founders. So that's how usually we try to see the direction that the entrepreneurs or the founders are designing their protocols or their networks, and we believe that the incentives of alignments, it's a key for the success of the token and the network itself, right?
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. All right, everybody. Does anybody have a question? If you do, you can well, actually, you can just chime in. I think there isn't so many of us that we can't just chime in if you have a question.
Yeah, I have a question.
Sure.
Hi, David. This is Tian from Tiger Chi. We are so glad to have you here, hearing you talking about metaverse, about your future plan, and about the sustainability of Algorand, and also the technical aspect of Algorand. So super insightful and informative session. And yeah, I just learned a lot. I have a very curious question. I'm wondering, when we talk about metaverse, like now you are in like sort of a metaverse we created. Is this your first time being like actually in a metaverse? So what's your experience? Like, how do you like it?
Yeah, it's my first time in a desktop app powered metaverse. I have been in the past by the way, thank you, Tian, for all your help in the setup and allowing me to participate, and I feel honored to be part of this event, and also feel great about supporting a cause and the ideals that Algorand and this event it's looking to promote. So thank you so much for having me, and thank you so much for letting me participate. Thank you so much for exhibiting the Machine Hallucinations Coral Dream piece. We are glad that could work. And yes, coming back to Metaverse, the experience was amazing. I think that it was very seamless. I think that it doesn't feel like it's something very far away of what I have experienced in other places like Sandbox or Decentraland. So I think that there will be a lot of opportunities to keep growing and keep building on top of this experience. And we are very happy to keep collaborating on future events and future projects that you guys are looking to do as part of this.
Yeah, that's glad to hear, because from the conversation just now you had with Cooper, my understanding is your focus for the future metaverse development is actually more about gaming. Yeah.
Yeah, it's about gaming, and it's about creating the right interaction between the users, and usually what motivates the engagement is the gamification part. So we think that's going to be one of the best ways to keep people engaged, right, in the metaverse. It's not just one experience, it's something that we would like to continue to do.
Sure. Yeah, and because from my conversation with like different people, like for gamers, they will say, oh, metaverse is just another game. And for designers, they probably will say, we don't want any metaverse which look like a game. They want something more fancy, more futuristic. So like, how would you address that? Saying, okay, you have a project focusing on developing gaming metaverse. How about a metaverse focusing on visuals, designs, and having the community to actually contribute to design something, and they can own, they can trade, like something similar of what we are having now on the platform, which we can invite people or designers to come and build. How do you feel about the future of this type of metaverse?
I think that it can create a lot of opportunities, and also I think that the metaverse in general is a big experiment that is growing at a fast pace, and I think that as gaming has been proven to be one of the best ways to engage people and keep people collaborating, other models will emerge, and I think that um, um, platforms like the ones that you're mentioning, where people can come and collect, people can trade, people can see different NFTs and different digital value assets. I think that there will be opportunities for other type of interactions in the metaverse, right? Collecting, trading, engaging, socializing as well. We are seeing a big opportunity to disrupt in the way that we use social networks right now, and I think that the metaverse probably is the next generation of social networks. So we are very excited about that, and we are investors in a company. More than investors, we are collectors and backers of a company called Epoch Gallery. They are actually right now one of the first projects that I have seen that they are completely tokenizing an entire virtual exhibition. So instead of buying individual NFTs, you're buying an NFT that is like the entire collection and the exhibition and like a metaverse experience, very similar to this without the avatars. But it's great to see that the metaverse is allowing this type of new platforms to engage with collectors and users. So you can go and buy the entire collection and have your own private metaverse or your own private museum as an entire NFT. And I have been collecting the 4 or 5 projects and exhibitions that they have been launching. So that goes very in line with what you describe and the new use cases for the metaverse.
Thank you for your explanation. Yes, I feel excited about the future of metaverse too, as it can be really diversified, and we can have different sorts of metaverse, and people probably can find a proper role in it to contribute, to create, and to create value. Yeah, I'm very excited, and thank you for sharing your insights. I think, I'll pass the chance to others if they have questions.
Hey guys, hey David, it's Eldar. I hope you're well. I have a question for you with regards to the few investments that Borderless have done, and especially when it comes to the cross chains and interoperability and so on on Algorand. What is your view with regards to the timeline and ultimately, considering the ecosystem that Algorand is rapidly building, obviously, getting, other ecosystems coming to Algorand and contributing and so on is going to be great. But I feel that there's a lot of tribalism, happening, and I'm finding it hard to believe that there will be a lot of, especially developers, jumping. I would say bulk of it. We obviously have seen some developers already jumping to Algorand, but is there growth that is coming to Algorand really going to come from kind of new source, i.e. Web 2, corporate world and so on, people that want to get the new users, or do you think that bulk will be basically people migrating from existing platforms?
Thank you, Eldar, for the question. I will say that both. I think that we should not focus in one particular bucket of users. We should focus both on the institutional use cases, the corporates, and the enterprise opportunities. And also, we should focus in the crypto native users, commonly known as degens, right? And crypto renegades. So I think that both in both cases, I think that Algorand is very well suitable for serving both publics. And related to interoperability and the opportunity to bridge across blockchains. I think that Algorand um, has a unique opportunity to become one of the most reliable settlement networks for different blockchains and different assets in different blockchains. We have been backing a lot of projects trying to solve this problem. You know, we are the lead investor in Algomint, which is bringing a centralized, for now, version of Bitcoin and Ethereum and soon other assets into Algorand that enable to participate in the Algorand native capital markets with those assets. We are also investors in Milkomeda, which is creating a layer of compatibility between Algorand and EVM compatible blockchains. We are investors in C3 from Run Labs that is building a settlement and recent giant network using Algorand as the core layer, but enabling any EVM compatible blockchain to transfer assets within the EVM compatible blockchains using Algorand as the settlement layer. Um, we are investors also in a new project that I cannot announce that is big in creating bridges across other blockchains, and that is coming very soon to Algorand. So I think that the opportunity of creating bridges is more about not just bringing the developers. I think that is more about positioning Algorand as the right settlement and payment network for all the different blockchains that are out there. By the way, also one that I forgot to mention is Flare Network that is um, soon making an announcement about their partnership with Algorand, and we are super excited as well. So um, those are coins that are reducing the friction to bring more assets and more value to the Algorand network. But when we are talking about users, I think that we should focus both on the enterprise and corporate users and also on the crypto native users. And I think that now we are going in the right direction, targeting both sides of the world. So
Thank you, David. And maybe if I can follow up, I mean, and at the opening of of your conversation, you mentioned that corporates are looking into the ESG and obviously carbon negative and or carbon neutral platforms when they are going down either investment or collaborating and putting their existing database into the onto the blockchain. Uh, you know, I'm assuming that you have quite a lot of conversations with these corporates. I mean, how important truly is that to them, or are they still in a frame of mind? We are looking at top 10 kind of coins per market cap. The volumes that are going through and so on. Where is the true importance?
yeah, no, I think that the interest is growing, and we are seeing a lot of corporates getting closer and closer with Algorand, just because it's the only one that is really bringing up this as a core conversation, right? Why technology should enable new things, but also be sustainable at the same time. I will say that one historic reflection of that or example of that, it is what happened last week in Paris, where one of the biggest airlines in the world was looking to um, create a new way for people to travel by minting the first NFT ticket or NFT ticket that our portfolio company Travel Exchange has launched. And I believe that that's another example of how a corporation like Air Europa, which is one of the biggest airlines in the world, is looking to disrupt their own legacy business. You still go to the airline check-in process, and you are printed with a paper ticket, right? And if we can use a digital ticket that is also removing part of the carbon footprint that uh, the same travel industry is creating, that's super powerful. And I think that corporations are kind of aligning their mission and ethos with what Algorand is bringing, and that will also reduce the friction for some corporations to start coming into blockchain, right? Just because they want to be more sustainable, and I think that Algorand is enabling that.
Yeah, totally agree. Thank you.
All right. Are there
Thank
any
you.
other questions? as as I was listening to you, David, I had a couple of thoughts. You had mentioned Decentraland and what else? Oh, Sandbox. Is there are and forgive me if this is sort of an ignorant question, but are there any projects like that that you see coming? Like, can that kind of metaverse infrastructure land and kind of going on to what Tian was saying is are there projects? Do you see building that type of metaverse world on Algorand?
Yes, there are a couple of projects. They are not public yet, and it will take some time for them to become public. Um, but what I can say is that we are closely related with some of the key projects that are looking to bring the same metaverse experience, trustless, permissionless, and decentralized by nature platforms, creating their own metaverses. So.
That sounds exciting, especially with the idea of how little energy it takes to run on Algorand. And then my other question for you is in Latin America we see Algorand being adopted, El Salvador, Colombia, Brazil. I've heard Silvio Macaulay. He speaks very positively about Argentina. What do you? So I'm speculating there's something there, but what do you see? Why is Algorand so well positioned in Latin America, and where do you see that headed?
Yeah, look, I am from Latin America. I am originally from Argentina. So we,
Okay.
the countries in Latin America, we as citizens of different economies, having been dealing with um, high inflation, devaluation, capital controls, um, things that from an economic perspective are restricting people to access to financial services, which is a huge difference versus how people can access in more developed regions like US or Europe. I think that blockchain has a unique opportunity to enable that access. Um, um, by having a technology that really doesn't create frictions with the cost of accessing and democratize the access to this technology, a lot of entrepreneurs and fintech companies can start building products that can onboard all that sector of the population that is completely outside of the financial world, and in the same way that the mobile phones were able to bring and connect a lot of people that were disconnected, instead of using them just the traditional land phones. Now people are connected through mobile phones, and we just jumped one generation of communication services. I think that that's what is going to happen in emerging markets like Latin America, where people are just getting to financial services through Web3 rather than going with traditional finance in the beginning, and that will be possible for to be done with technologies only like Algorand. We are seeing our portfolio companies like Lemon Cash or Agro Token, or Sensei Node enabling this type of financial infrastructure in Latin America, and we believe that this will enable millions and millions of people to participate and have access to financial services without going to have traditional financial services of their first experience. So that's one of the things that we Latin Americans learn a lot, how to deal with inflation and the valuation of our local currencies, and circumventing capital controls that restrict us to access to products and services that in other markets are just the normal for the people. And I think that blockchain will enable that in starting with Latin America for sure.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. Does anybody have a question before we sign off? You can just go ahead and hit your. You can. Do you have a question, Schrodinger? All right. Well, hey, look, thank you so much, David. I really appreciate this, and thank you to Tian. I mean, this was such a seamless experience. So I appreciate being invited to be here, and I appreciate your time, David. And if there's no other questions, I think we can sign off.
Awesome.
Yeah, sure. Or if David wants to stay longer, I can show you around our exhibition area.
Thank you, and I would love that. Unfortunately, I have another commitment to go right now.
No problem.
I really appreciate your help and really appreciate your support, and I really appreciate you guys having me here and giving me the time to share more about what we're building in Borderless Capital and our core commitment with sustainability and sustainable investment. So looking forward to keep participating in future events, and congratulations in doing one of the first metaverse experience in Algorand. It was really amazing to be part of it.
Thank you, David. And you definitely motivate us. And as a community, we are very dedicated to the growth of Algorand ecosystem. And we wish to contribute and, to witness the growth of Algorand as a whole. Yeah, and thank you for your dedication to Algorand as well. Thank you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
So have a wonderful day, and I'll speak to you guys later.
Yeah, and then everybody that is still here, and if you haven't checked out like the art gallery, there's some really cool stuff if you want to explore.
Yeah. Or you can log in anytime later, and the whole area will be there for 1 month. So once you have some time, you can just check our contemporary like art gallery or our animal friends gallery, or check out some exhibition we brought in from like overseas, like from China, and see what their young artists, designers are doing. Yeah.
Great. All right, everybody. Well, happy Earth Day, and thank you so much.
Happy Earth Day. Bye.
Happy Earth Day. Take care. Bye.
Bye.